Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, on the spookiest day of the year. It's Halloween! My name is Brian Engelman.
And I'm Blake Walley.
And it is Tuesday, October the 31st, 2023. This is the Agree to Disagree show on the new American media because the old American media has failed you. Go to thenewamericanmedia.com. Find the new American media in all of the places. Today's show, I think we're going to lead with a sports story, which is why I did the crossover to my other show called The Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Sometimes sports and current events collide and they're worth discussion. This one is worth discussing. We're going to get to it in just a minute, but make sure you're also following Blake on all of his socials. He is at thenextlevelnews.com. And also you can find him on X at TV's Blake Walley. That's BLAKEWALLEY. On X, we are at American_media_. So, Blake, we have quite the show today. Quite the show. Happy Halloween. Are you dressing up for anything? Do you get trick-or-treaters?
Not really. No, I'm not really planning on much today. Not in my area without getting into too much of the details. No, not exactly. But how about you, Brian? What are you going to be? You're going to be a Browns fan again. How original.
Yes. See, look, I'm rocking the Browns. Nothing new. Yeah, we had a tough game, tough loss. We'll see. I hope we trade for Jacoby Brissett. He was our quarterback last year. Started half the season while Deshaun Watson was injured. But
was it Watson coming back or no?
Man, okay, never mind. Don't even get me started on Deshaun Watson, the $230 million car that you can't drive, the $230 million car that you're paying for, but it's in the shop for, last season he was suspended for half the year, and then this year he's injured with an injury that you can't really tell it's an injury. They're calling it a micro tear. He comes out and he starts, and I was there in Indianapolis, and he looked terrible. Threw 2 interceptions in just a couple of passes, I think 5 passes. One of them was ruled incomplete on further review, but then they yanked him. He got his head bounced off the turf, and they checked for concussion, but then they're like, yeah, you're fine for concussion, but you suck today. You can't make your throws, so we're going to go with our backup, PJ Walker. So it's been tough. Our defense is legitimate. We make big plays. We do get some turnovers, and they can be filthy. And our special teams has shockingly been pretty fantastic. However, that offense has been a little spotty. Too many damn giveaways, too many turnovers. But you want to talk about spookiness and spooky season? Yeah, that's kind of spooking me out, the Browns quarterback situation. We're on our 3rd one, but I digress. But since I said we're going to cross-reference today's show and we're going to discuss what's happening in the world of sports, I think that's a good place to start. A little palate cleanser to get into the rest of the news and politics of the day. So let's begin. All right, Blake. So we have a story out of the sports world. I read the headline and went, oh, man, that's awful. And that was it. I just moved along. I shared the story and went, oh, that was a freak accident. Okay, well, there you have it. I'm not a huge hockey fan, but I've watched enough hockey to know what hockey looks like. Then I started hearing rumblings that there might be more to this story. And then I found the video and I reached a conclusion. So let's start with you, sir. What can you tell us about this situation? Let me pull up the caption here. The question for you, agree or disagree that the brutal hockey homicide was actually a freak sporting accident? That's a reverse way of how I would have asked the question, but you typed it out. So agree or disagree that the brutal hockey homicide, it was just a freak sporting accident? What say you?
Yeah, I think it was play gone wrong. Obviously, I don't think the guy tried to. There was a murder on the ice, like an actual murder. A man died as a result of a ice skate hockey, blade slashing his throat in a a maneuver. It's a violent sport. People do hit each other and have plenty of contact. But this seemed to be excessive. And at first, it seemed like, oh, maybe he just fell off balance. Obviously, I don't think he tried to murder the dude, but he is. Upon further review, it appears that the guy that was involved, there's a couple of players. The guy that attacked him had like the most penalty minutes in the league. Like he had a reputation.
Yeah, so let's pause right there. Let's make sure we do the who, what, where, when, why. The where would be an English game overseas. It involved two hockey players. The guy who was killed on the rink. What was his name? He used to play for the Pittsburgh Penguins at some point. He was a younger guy, 29 maybe. What was his name?
His name is Adam Johnson.
Okay.
And yes, they were both. It's like the minor leagues, I guess. Kind of. So he was in the NHL briefly, and he was still kind of semi-pro. And they have like a league over in England, and they were in a game. And yes, unfortunately, it resulted in a horrific tragedy with blood all over the ice, and not because of fighting, but because of an actual fatality. So police are investigating the death of American ice hockey player Adam Johnson after his neck was cut by a skate blade. He was playing for the Nottingham Panthers and the Sheffield Steelers when he suffered the skate cut in a Champions Cup game on Saturday and died in the hospital. He was a Minnesota native who appeared in 13 NHL games a few years ago. The officers remain at the scene carrying out inquiries, and our investigation into the circumstances surrounding the incident remain ongoing, according to police in South Yorkshire. So we would encourage the public to avoid speculation regarding the incident while we continue our inquiries.
Whoa, that's a weird phrase.
Yes, because as it turns out, the other player was, I guess, people are speculating that maybe they're covering it up because he was not white. And so if it would have been the other way around, perhaps it would have gotten a lot more attention as sort of a racist targeted attack. Now, again, I do not think it was targeted. I just think that this was the style of play that this guy did. And it went too far. And yes, it ended up being an involuntary manslaughter. But this guy, just had a reputation as being a violent player. So let's take a look. Now, this article is kind of nasty the other way, saying there's a slight difference between how Western media covered a white man restraining a black man in self-defense. This is going into the subway attack and how they tried to destroy that man for strangling a black homeless man. But this is
subduing him from terrorizing everybody in that train car, by the way. That's what subduing the man. He didn't just, hey, something about you doesn't strike me right. I want to kill you today. This guy was screaming and terrorizing and threatening everybody on the train, and he stepped in to help. Thank God he was there to help, because that could have escalated immensely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, good points. So the corporate media immediately erupted after a man died in what appeared to be a freak accident. And that's what I would like to believe. But it was no accident, perhaps. Vigilante violence, brutality. Now that was the Neely story, so I'm kind of conflating. That was Jordan Neely, and Daniel Penny was the ex-Marine who restrained him with the chokehold to save his fellow passengers. But this one was on the game, on the ice. So Petgrave, this is the Steelers player here, Matt Petgrave, skating towards Johnson with his leg in the air, slashed his rival in the throat. Johnson immediately collapsed before a referee and teammate usher him off the rink, and a deluge of blood streaming down his neck and all over the ice. and he eventually wound up dead. So Petgrave, he's a 31-year-old Black Canadian. He has quite the track record of malfeasance in the Elite Ice Hockey League, reportedly racking up the most penalty minutes in all of 2022 and getting kicked out of games. Saying he's
let's pause it right there. Go ahead and keep reading. If you care to turn away at this point, go ahead and turn away at this point.
Are you going to show the video?
Yeah, I have the video pulled up. It's a little grainy, but
graphic.
but you'll kind of get the gist of it, because I didn't have an opinion on it until I watched the video. So anyway, if you want to turn away, turn away. I made the comment today, just between that innocent dancer that was at that Israeli concert that was had her legs broken and her naked body was paraded on the back of a pickup bed, and then they found her skull yesterday. We're so desensitized to seeing these acts of barbarism and brutality and just the worst that humanity has to offer. It's terrible, but I'm not going to show this video to exploit the situation. I'm showing this because it needs to be seen if you also want to make your own determination on it. I guess give me 1 second. I'll just kind of walk you through this 15-second clip, and maybe I'll play it a few times while you could jump back into the story here. But for context of what we're talking about, I think it's important we jump to it. So you can see my cursor on the screen, right? As I move around. I'm trying to, you should be able to see it, I believe. But the player in question, Matt Petgrave, who I believe, Blake, it said he was thrown out for of 2 of his last 4 games for excessive violence.
Yes.
Was that okay? So that is accurate. But he comes up from here. Here, let me just play it. He goes up and hits him in the shoulder. They're going to slow it down. Here he is. He goes up, hits this guy in the shoulder. Then he karate chops this guy with his left leg right here, up and slash. That is not a hockey play. Here it is in medium slow motion again. Drops his left shoulder, bam, with his left foot in even slower motion. Final time, drops it, left leg up, murder. I've never seen a hockey play where you lift your skate to slash somebody and smash them in the neck and head area. This, to me, is a blatant murder. That you're sliding around, you're motoring around out there on weapons, sharp blades. There is not a single hockey play on earth that calls for you to lift your leg like Bruce Lee and slash a throat. So anyway, I played it, I think, enough for you guys to get a good feel of. I guess 2 more times. Medium slow-mo, drops the shoulder. And maybe as the shoulder catches, he knows the guy's going to get behind him, so he tries to slow him down with his foot. But I don't buy that. That's not a hockey play. Ugh. That is absolutely not something that's ever taught, nothing that's ever condoned. And I'm showing this, and I'll stop now. You kind of get the point.
Yeah, we get it. We don't need to see the people can find the video. It won't be hard to find.
I know. It's important for context for you.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's a great breakdown of that. Okay.
So if you want to continue with the story, I just, before we go too deep here, I wanted to kind of give people that so they can have their own understanding of it. But go ahead where I jumped in there, sir. Yeah,
well, as you said, he has been booted out of 2 of the last 4 games. Yeah, it's hard to get actually kicked out of 2 of the last 4 games. That's pretty amazing. For abuse of officials and alleged spearing, and is Sheffield's top penalty minute taker. I mean, it's good to have, you got to have like a, defenseman who's, willing to go in there and maybe rile stuff up and be the enforcer on the ice, but it has to be clean. You can't just take shots like that. I've never seen that. I mean, I don't watch a lot of hockey, but I've never seen a guy like lift his skate or use his legs or kick somebody.
It was like something out of an MMA match. It was something, and I'll tell you what, he got his leg. That's an athletic guy, because that leg came up to neck level. I mean, try it right now where you're standing. I'm trying it right now. Like, I'm not claiming to be have the flexibility or dexterity of a hockey player, but I was captain of my tennis team. I was the starting defensive end on an undefeated football team and the champion of my intramural basketball team. I'm an athletic dude, and it's hard to get your leg up like this. And he did it. This wasn't an accidental. When I read the story, I thought somehow there was a collision and multiple bodies hit the floor like a drowning pool song. And somewhere along the way, a skate got tumbled up as they spun in a weird freak accident. This was not a weird freak accident. This was that guy got kicked with a blade and the guy lost his life because of it.
Yeah, I can't disagree with any of that. And so this article is, pulling out how, the hypocrisy of how the media is covering this versus what they did with the Marine Penny on the subway. So it's terrible that it had to be like this, but this does not look like a freak accident. This is the headlines that they put it out on CNN, Fox, Yahoo. It's just
they were all just calling it a freak accident.
Heartbreaking freak accident, dies after getting cut in the neck, freak accident. Yeah, they keep using the same line. Is this all AI writers? How do they come up with the exact same thing? Freak accident. So those buzzwords.
By the way, Dreamer Ultra, welcome. If you're watching if you're watching anywhere, please leave your comments. We like to read them. Dreamer says, I don't know hockey, but it seems obvious you should never leave the ice with your feet, right? Unless you want to hurt somebody. Absolutely. That is my take completely. I don't know exactly what you charge in this case, but he's got to face the charges of manslaughter, reckless, something, at least manslaughter, probably murder, and try to plead it down. If you can be convinced that this was accidental, I've never seen a hockey player launch a skate 4.5 feet off the ground to get somebody. This guy is a menace. Not only should he be banned from hockey forever, he should be in a cage. This guy took the life of an innocent dude who was just out there playing a game. A menace of a human being.
Yeah, you got to wonder what he's like off the rink. If he's got that many penalty minutes, if he's that much of an enforcer and willing to, cross that line and to do these things and just to be continually kicked out of games and get all the penalty minutes. Yeah, he could be just a violent thug. And yeah, this has got nothing to do with his race. He needs to be removed from the sport and probably face charges for that. So,
Deb from Saks, she says, when they all have the same narratives, that's when you know how they're lying. Yeah, that's a good point. As soon as what happened on January 6th, insurrection, you're going, I do not think that word means what you think it means. You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means. From Princess Bride.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good call, Deb. So I guess my point in bringing this up and elevating this, while there's so many important stories going on in the world, I'm a sports guy. I've always been a sports guy. And I try to stick up for what's right. I try to wait until I can examine a situation before I just jump in with a off-the-cuff opinion. I try to at least gather the necessary pertinent information so that I'm not making a blind decision to just parrot what people tell me to say. This one really rubbed me the wrong way. Do you remember that movie? Who was that? Was that Jamie Foxx in that football movie where he's running as a running back and he pulls out a gun and shoots a guy from the other team? Like it was such an absurd football movie from the late 90s.
I remember that where he became the quarterback or something, but I don't think that was the same movie that I'm thinking of. I think I know something about it, but I think it was conflating two different movies.
Oh, those were two different movies?
I think so. I remember Jamie Foxx. He was a backup quarterback in a movie. I don't know if it was an Oliver Stone movie, I wanted to say, where they did, and it was Dennis Quaid that was the starting quarterback. They had a lot of solid actors. And I think the GM was the blonde actress, and I can't think of her name. Something about Mary.
Cameron
Diaz.
Cameron Diaz, yeah.
Yeah, and it had... I forget. It had a big name cast, but it was kind of a weird movie. But no, I don't. I know the one you're talking about, but I didn't actually see the movie. But I do remember something about a guy pulling a gun.
Here we go. This would be The Last Boy Scout.
Okay, I didn't see
a
that.
1991
Willis, right?
American buddy action film directed by Tony Scott, screenplay from Shane Black, produced by Joel Silver. What does this say here? What is the perfect? It says, what is the most ridiculous scene in a sports movie? So what does it say here? Okay, opening scene. The opening scene of The Last Boy Scout is ludicrous, taking place at the most underlit football game ever played. Any high school game has better lighting. That also applies to the lighting during Lynn Swann's sideline interview and in the booth with Vern Lundquist and Dick Butkus. Was the network trying to okay, power outage. Cleveland called also the football team in Cleveland is called the Cats. Who's in charge of marketing? How long is this scene? Okay, anyway, but we're talking about a scene. The opening scene of The Last Boy Scout ends with a running back presumably told he needs to win the game for a bet or else. Hopped up on PCP that he popped at halftime, catching a pass, chugging toward a touchdown, who then pulls a gun out of his pants and shoots the 3 players who attempt to tackle him on the way to the end zone. Yeah, of course he scores. Apparently knowing that he's made a terrible mistake, the running back, played by Mr. Tybo himself, Billy Blanks, then shoots himself in the head. Well, I didn't know Billy
Blanks. Great movie.
Played.
Yeah, no, I didn't see that one.
The Last Boy Scout. But something as absurd as that scene, as when I typed it in, this was this whole article about what's the most absurd scene in sports history. That's how absurd this murder on the ice was to me. As unfathomable, that's a weird word to say, as unfathomable as it is to pull out a gun and shoot 3 people to score a touchdown before shooting yourself would be on a football field. That's how ridiculous this was, that this guy lifted his leg 4.5 feet up to kill that other player. I can't believe that it happened. I've never seen anything like that, Blake.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll never see that again. Bringing up new rules that they're going to require everybody to wear a throat guard. I think starting January 1st, they will not allow that to happen in hockey again after, that incident. That could have pretty devastating for the sport. And there's going to be consequences for that. Anyway. All right.
Anyway.
Well.
All right. So that's one. I'm following
Halloween,
it, and I'm
awful, grisly, gruesome Halloween story. Hopefully it ends there. No, but there's more.
Oh, there's more stories. There's not much more we want to cover on that first story, though, right? We're good there?
Yeah, I think we got to move because we only have about... sorry, we just got a little late start today, and then we're going to have to cut it a little bit early, but we still got about an hour, so we got plenty of time.
So let's go to stories.
Glad to have everybody here. Yes.
All right. Blake, you and I are journalists. We consider it to be an important calling, an endeavor worthy of praise, accolades, true American heroes. The journalism, our First Amendment protected rights, is one of the most sacred responsibilities and opportunities that we have as Americans. Typically, anybody who's in power that's doing awful things, they don't want people to talk about them, right? That seems pretty clear. Enshrined in our governing documents is the right to life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Then you get into the amendments, and the First Amendment guarantees a freedom of the press. And one of those freedoms is to get a source, to report a story rather, and you are allowed to keep that source to yourself. What's going on with Catherine Herridge here should terrify all of us, and this is brought to you by the Barack Hussein Obama administration that put this judge in charge. This is what you get when you vote Democrat. Please never vote Democrat, ever. That's not an endorsement of the Republican Party, because I think they're almost equally terrible on a lot of things. But really, Democrats at this point, they need to be called to account for their stupidity, their maliciousness, and their anti-freedom stances. And I need to start seeing more removals from people who have no business being in positions of power, who are abusing their opportunity. You moved away from the Halloween background to what is this? This is
I
a
thought this
locksmith?
might be a Halloween something. It looked like Halloween candy or something. I'm trying to see if they have like a video, a Halloween background loop video, but I don't know what these are. I haven't seen these before, but it
Gotcha.
doesn't look like it. Oh, well.
Well, while you play with those, I just want to pose this question and then I'll ask for your retort, sir. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one. I like that one. That's nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Agree or disagree, Blake, that Catherine Herridge should face contempt charges for protecting her sources?
Absolutely not. That's nothing that doesn't belong in America. No, we don't do things that way. And it's disturbing to see that that's actually happening. And even more surprising that it's like a mainstream reporter that they're going after. So that's pretty terrifying stuff. And that's like a different style of journalism, like where you're protecting sources. Like that's one of the things I try to avoid is really doing the real investigative stuff or having sources I got to protect. I don't like to, it's just easier for me to just do the gonzo style and just do the analysis part of that. So, yeah, but there's some people that really put their lives in danger every day for doing these sorts of acts, and they are heroic. And also not to be confused with all the script readers and the propagandists that think they're actually journalists when they just basically do what they're told, and then you're useful idiots that get paid to push whatever's in front of them. So let's take a look at this. This is out of the Epoch Times, which does do real journalism. And I have the paid subscription, so I can show you this stuff. So
now let me ask, because I've thought this for weeks now, and I haven't mentioned it until now. You pronounce it. How do you pronounce it?
It's either Epic or Epoch. I've heard it.
I go with the third one. I go with Epoch.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Because to me, my ear catches Epic, where I would read it EPIC.
Right.
Epoch is pretty like Epoch Shakur, one of my favorite rappers.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go as Epoch Shakur for Halloween tonight. How about that?
There you go. I think that's a great idea.
I bet I have a bandana somewhere, but no, I just was curious. I get fixated on pronunciations and word choice, and you know that about me. I'm a linguist. Right. I'm a cunning linguist. Anyway, go ahead.
Nice. It's not a band.
It's a play. It's a play on. Yeah.
There's actually a good song by the Cunning Linguists, I think. I can't remember the name of it, but I will have to look that up. All right, we're going to get sidetracked here, but good stuff. If only we had more room. All right, so we have former Fox News reporter refuses to reveal her source, now faces a contempt charge, which carries a potential jail sentence. So a reporter with Fox News, when she reported on information provided by a confidential source, is facing a contempt charge because she's refusing to reveal the source's identity despite a court order that she do so. Catherine Herridge, who is now reporting for CBS News, was ordered in August to disclose the identity and motive of the source, who provided information about an FBI investigation into a Chinese-American scientist. So these are the people that we want to protect the most. Whistleblowers are brave, and the journalists that expose that information and protect the sources, those are people that are commendable and heroic. And American.
Don't you mean, Blake, that we should protect the Chinese?
Yeah, I'm sure they do. They want us to protect. This is embarrassing for the administration and the corrupt FBI or who have you that's involved in this stuff. And so, yes, they want to go after the whistleblower, make an example. They're turning us into a banana republic type of thing, turning us into a Stalin dictatorship. So, but Ms. Herridge, during a deposition after the order was handed down, refused to answer questions regarding the identity of her confidential source and other aspects of her reporting process and editorial decision-making. That's what lawyers for Yanping Chen, the scientist, said in a recent filing. They asked the court to hold Ms. Herridge in contempt, a criminal charge that can bring jail time.
Good Lord.
Yeah. U.S. District Judge Christopher Cooper, who issued the order, said Ms. Herridge would likely be held in contempt unless she provides the information. Here is the quote. With contempt proceedings now teed up, one of the two outcomes appears likely. Either Herridge will be held in contempt in the near future and can immediately appeal that order, or, as sometimes occurs in these cases, the sources may release Herridge from the privilege rather than watch her undergo the consequences of contempt. That's from Judge Cooper, who was appointed under President Barack Obama, who wrote in his ruling. So, yes, he was rejecting Ms. Herridge's request to reconsider his earlier refusal to stay proceedings pending appeal. Ms. Herridge hasn't commented on the matter, and her deposition, taken in September, has not been made public. Meanwhile, lawyers for Ms. Herridge didn't respond for a request for comment. So either did Fox News or CBS. Her lawyer said that the judge's August order contained language indicating that he thought he was forced to require contempt before an appeal, but that the court actually had discretion to certify an appeal ahead of a contempt ruling. Anyway, it's here's the lawyers basically said the court should exercise its discretion to avoid forcing Ms. Herridge to suffer a contempt sanction as the price for securing review of her First Amendment rights. Yeah, that's what you would like to see. That's what should normally happen. Tell them to go pound sand. You got no business there. You can protect your sources. You can protect whistleblowers. Now they go after you. They send that chill factor. So as the establishment goes after its political enemies and anybody who might embarrass the administration, like, an Edward Snowden or who's it, Bradley Manning or Chelsea Manning now? Yeah. So
yeah, he's one of them. The Manning.
Something they do in China or, communist countries, banana republics.
Well, here's my question, Blake.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to figure out is, where is the fast track to the Supreme Court? What is the process to get obvious cases to them so that they can squash them quickly? What is so antiquated about taking so damn long? Oh, yeah, once a year, they're going to rule on 7 things. It's like, we see shit every day that needs attention right now. A gag order on the President of the United States? Fast track, Supreme Court. Yeah, piss off with that. Denied. Next. Oh, okay. A journalist is going to be sued for or going to be jailed for not revealing her source. First Amendment. Denied. That is shot out. Next. Where's the fast track for the Supreme Court? I've been begging.
I don't think there is one, Brian. It takes a while. Yeah. So don't hold your breath on that one. Would be nice, but no, there's other lower courts that have to take things first. And then it moves up the ranks as it does is deemed necessary. But yeah, no, it's a disturbing trend. Yes, under the Obama administration. Journalists are already under great pressure anytime they face a legal demand to reveal a confidential source or other news gathering material. And if they can't appeal an order requiring them to name a source without facing a potentially large fine or long jail sentence, some may think twice about continuing to resist.
No bueno, man. That's a sad state of affairs. This is what you get when you put someone like Barack Hussein Obama into office, and this is what happens when he is.
Well, yeah, is either that or John McCain. So, yeah, who knows? We've already been embroiled between John McCain and Lindsey Graham. We might not even be standing here. The world would already have been destroyed. So, pick your poison.
Okay.
It was obviously, yeah. There was no winners in that election.
Jane says, I agree, Blake. What?
Did not have to reveal
she should not have to reveal her sources. And since she's Fox, she won't suffer the same fate as Assange. Well, I mean, she used to be with Fox. Now she's with CBS, right?
Yeah.
But was this from something when she was at Fox?
That's a good question. I'm not 100%. It doesn't seem like it was that long. That was a while ago.
Okay.
So maybe she did. And I'm surprised that, at CBS, I think they still actually have Cheryl Atkinson, who is one of the great investigative reporters out there. I'd be curious to go check her out on X Twitter and see what she says about this. But I think I can kind of I think she'll probably agree that this is wrong and a bad trend to set. And it is going to undermine these, the journal and the fourth estate as a balance of power against the corrupt that would like to kill these stories. That's what they say. Journalism is, printing something that somebody doesn't want. I don't know the exact quote. Is publishing things that other people don't want you to see.
Yeah, I know what you're referencing. Yeah. It is a great quote if we could figure it out.
Yeah,
I don't even remember who said it exactly, but yeah. So this is terrifying. This is bad news. This is not okay. Just like we have to stand up for that slain hockey player and demand justice in the criminal courts, we need to stand up for journalists who are being attacked. They have rights. They have special rights. You only have a free and independent press when you can remain free and independent. And when you have overreaching activist judges trying to usurp the power, the limitations and protections and freedoms of our governing documents, this judge should be removed from the bench. He should be disbarred. This is just ridiculous. You can't be running around doing this stuff. If you can prove they're part of a criminal conspiracy together, okay, I guess you might have a different case there, in which case 90% of the lying legacy media should be thrown in Gitmo at this point for every one of the lies that they perpetrated on us, especially over the past decade. But we could go back to 9/11. We could go back as far as you want. If you're knowingly pushing propaganda, that's another thing. Where's the Supreme Court with striking down the Obama era rule with the Smith-Mundt Act to allow fake news propaganda to be showed to the American people? Why wasn't that overthrown by the Supreme Court? Where was the fast track to that? Clear and obvious. But instead, it's now part of the operating procedure in this country that, oh yeah, they can lie to you. Yeah, they can knowingly lie to you with no repercussions.
We're living for the greater good, Brian. Yes.
Yeah. Thank
Trust
you.
Your government.
For the greater good, of course. All right. Well, that's the latest on that. Obviously, we're looking for an update on the hockey story. Maybe on Thursday, we're looking for an update on the Catherine Herridge story. Maybe on Thursday. Do we have anything else we wanted to cover on that particular topic?
Nope. We got
all right.
Then
I think this would be a good time to move along to the next topic as soon as my design button clicks, because it's on a bit of a delay. Here we go. I like that news music.
Yeah.
Gets me dancing. Gets me dancing. Okay, Blake, agree or disagree that there is a great wait, it's a awakening? Wakening or awakening?
I think it's just great wakening.
Oh. Okay.
Wakening from woke.
Wake and bake. A wakening and baking.
Oh, we should do that. Wake and Bake Wednesday show. I like it.
I wish to subscribe to your newsletter, Blake. This is an interesting idea. Wake and Bake Wednesday. Okay. Yeah. So agree or disagree, Blake, that there is a great wakening from woke that's happening on X? Agree or disagree?
I am going to disagree until I see more. But we'll see. This is actually from Elon. So let me pull this one up. He has declared the great awakening from woke has happened, but he knows the internal numbers and the the internal the notes, the people inside of Twitter, and they see a lot more and gather all the data and see all the people respond to certain things, and maybe he's onto something. He would know more than I would, just from having all of that access to that data. So Twitter ex-owner Elon Musk declared Monday that a great awakening from woke has taken place. And this is good for civilization. It would be great for civilization if we could kind of, and wake up and kind of come together on what we could agree are truths. But I haven't seen that much of it yet. But perhaps
what has been nice about agreeing on truth? The community notes. I've always had this idea, kind of like the thing that's lacking on community notes that I'd like to see is like a pie chart or a bar graph I'd like to see which number of people vote in which way, so you can kind of see a color-coded balance of, maybe, okay, so I could visualize. I'm giving Elon all my damn good ideas because I've wanted to do this for the New American Media. I just don't have a team of people to. If I had a budget, Blake, just a couple $1 million, and I had some people on, I go, all right, here's what I want. I want a graphic where it's kind of like "And Justice for All" cover on Metallica. It's Lady Liberty and she's blindfolded, and it's got the scales of justice in her hands, kind of like I want to kind of see. And it's a little similar to a show idea that I pitched to the BBC when we were working on a show called All American Conspiracy, where it's kind of like there's a mathematical formula or percentage attached where you can see it's 95% likely, according to everybody who's chimed in on it. Like, which stories are who killed JFK? You're like, well, it was CIA. Well, I don't know. It was Harvey Oswald. I don't know. It was, but when it's like 98% or 70%, and it's there's a wisdom of the collective, especially when the collective are sharp people who are intellectually honest and don't have a particular bent to say. But yeah, I love the community notes function because they do a fairly good job of exposing a lot of posts that are inaccurate. I'm not saying they catch everything. I'm not saying they're 100% correct, but a lot of time I will see a story and I'm like, oh, and then I scroll and I go, oh, okay, I don't need to share that. Now, that doesn't mean that I will never share it because I'm never going to blindly believe them, but then I'll just kind of reframe my perspective. If the community notes is saying it's incorrect, that's my starting position. If I find other information, then I will gladly go against the will of them if I know something to be true. But that is a good function, and I think that has happened, and that truth destroys woke. Woke is an ideology. Woke is a vindictive tactic. Woke is racist. Woke is it's really vindictive and racist. It's sexist. It's heterophobic. It's everything that's the opposite of what woke portends to be. They claim to be warriors for the little guy. They claim to be, they claim the moral high ground regardless of truth. So I see the community notes function as really shooting down a lot of this nonsense. And I think the woke crap that I experienced going to college, it really did set my course to start working in the newspaper. I was already doing radio in college, and then it kept me in media all these years because I don't like being lied to, and I want to cover underreported stories. And so I will agree that the great awakening from woke has happened. I think the public backlash has gone really, really heavy in the direction of trying to, the boomerang effect of what they were getting away with for a long time. It's kind of at this point, a lot of people kept their heads low, Blake. A lot of people just kind of, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. I'm going to keep my theories and my opinions to myself. I don't want someone coming after me. I don't want to lose my job. I don't want to be targeted. But then they saw, like, first they came for the gypsies, but I wasn't a gypsy, so I said nothing. Then they came for the trade unionists, but I wasn't a trade unionist, so I said nothing. I think what we've learned over the past 5-10 years is that we are all being targeted by this blob of woke, and we all have to collectively rise up to fend it off. Like in 300, the soldiers have a way of linking their armor, their shields in front of them. There's a way that they fight that they protect each other a lot more strongly when they're cobbled together as a group. And I think the normies have been pushed into a corner by all of these insane fanatics who are just hell bent on pinning scarlet letters to people. They want scalps to hold up as trophies of the people that they've canceled and ruined their lives. And we realize, and it's one of the best things that President Trump has going for him in this next election, where he should win in an absolute blowout, regardless of what Colorado is doing. I really want to just touch on the Colorado story as well, because that's another Catherine Herridge. How do we fast track this to the Supreme Court and squash it, kind of thing? But what Trump says is, they're coming for you. I just happen to be in the way. Yeah, they're coming for me, but they're coming for you because they're going after everyone. The woke blob, it has to consume everything. And so I would disagree with you there, Blake. I think the great awakening from woke has actually happened.
Okay. Well, I'll believe it when I see it. I'd love to see that. I've been waiting for that for a long time. I do like the community notes thing, but I'm not seeing a lot of people come around. In fact, I'm still seeing things are as divided as ever. You can probably bring up the Ronnie DeSantis people who are crazed anti-Trumpers now. I see a lack of, and I was going to bring up another sore subject, but it's going to be something we have to cover again. Is I'm seeing a lot of the Make America Great crowd or what have you that's also divided over Israel, that will just never give anything to what Israel is doing. It's always 100% one side. So I still see a lot of people that are blatantly on one side or another and are not that open-minded. But I am still trying to be cautiously optimistic that there is an awakening and that we'll all start collectively working together and see the truth. But it's an interesting quote anyway.
All right. The great awakening from woke has happened, and it's a good thing. So, all right, we'll see. Blake wants to see a little bit more proof in the pudding before he,
Yeah, I haven't seen anything from the leftists, the DeSantis people, the Israel people, the Israel is never wrong people. There is, I think there's still a tremendous amount of work. And I don't know if it's a losing endeavor, but I'll be optimistic still.
All right. Well, we'll bounce off of this topic and move on to the next.
All right.
This is another one of these stories that you just kind of want to fast track this to the Supreme Court again, like an intentional dereliction of duty. This is treason. This is the highest crime and misdemeanor possible. This is blatant anti-American dereliction of duty, aiding and abetting the enemy. Oh, you mean these poor migrants who are just coming in to wash dishes? You mean they're enemies? We're saying that there's a system, and if you sneak in our back door, there are consequences, harsh, severe consequences, because we have to protect our own. Oh, I had a great analogy on this, and it escapes me at the moment. If it pops back into my head, I can't wait to share it with you. But I should have wrote it down. Mitch Hedberg has a joke about that. He says, as a comedian, you're on the road all the time. You're in a lot of hotel rooms, and you're laying on your bed watching TV, and you're thinking of new jokes. Or if the pen and paper are too far away, you have to convince yourself that what you thought of ain't that funny. So I need to start making sure I write some of these really good gems down so I can go back and reference them. Just maybe in a notes section on an app on my phone at least. But I had a really good illegal alien situation that I was going to compare it to, but maybe it'll dawn on me. But Blake, agree or disagree? Whoever ordered to lift the border barrier, that's a weird the cadence of that. Whoever ordered to lift the border barrier should be charged with treason. Agree or disagree?
Yes, I am going to agree. And in fact, I took this headline straight from Health Ranger Mike Adams in a tweet with a video. It says, straight up treason. Whoever gave the command to lift the border barrier should be arrested by Texas authorities and charged with treason.
Amen.
This comes out of InfoWars. Biden regime deploys heavy machinery to lift razor wire for a massive mob of illegals at the Rio Grande. Or Grande. Do we say grand or grande? Anyway, border hot cameras.
This is America, Blake. It's grand.
Grand. Okay.
It's grande on the other side.
Yeah. Let's just call it the River Grande. All right. Border hot cameras captured the moment Border Patrol used heavy machinery to raise concertina wire erected by Texas authorities just as a group of more than 300 illegal aliens coincidentally arrived in the area and stormed the riverbank at Eagles Pass, Texas.
Unbelievable.
So this huge caravan of around 300 migrants crossed into Eagle Pass thanks to Border Patrol lifting the barbed wire. Hundreds of migrants crossed in a few minutes. So they just kind of they hit a choke point. And they couldn't go any further. They met the border. That's what it should be, like the wall. And you can't go through it. And so they decided, now they have welded gates open before, or yes, they keep getting rid of the wall. So it's there for a reason. We should not be encouraging these people to make these mass migrations.
This caravan of around 300 migrants crossed into...
Turn the volume off there. But yes, there you can see they're walking up there, and then they just decided, hey, let's just take this this power equipment there. What do they call that? A
bulldozer?
Backhoe, right? Backhoe, bulldozer, whatever that is. And they just decided, hey, let's just wreck the wall so we can let these people up through the river, over the bank, into America. Hey, why not just give them phones and money and let them go wherever? It'd be nice. Like, again, this would be so cool if we just had this massive labor shortage. We were so fabulously wealthy, and we needed people to help with our infrastructure and farming. And we could bring all these wonderful people, bring them in, give them background checks, give them visas, let them make money, take care of their family. And if they're good, we can keep them. But that's not the way the policy works. And now it's just letting anybody in, especially when we're involved in these wars, whether it's these issues with whether it's Israel or Iran or Ukraine, whoever. We don't know who all of the people coming in are. And so when you're in these states of war, it's usually the good idea to close the borders, but we're not doing either. So it's quite the problem. And they still have not done anything to deter these migrants from keeping the flowing in. It's over 6-7 million, and this just keeps continuing. And who knows how many more we're going to have over this next year, running up to the 2024 election, if we actually have one. So,
if we actually have one, are you suspicious that the election will be not?
Yeah, with the state of war, and if we're involved in one, they can suspend the election. I think that's a way that, I'm sure that's part of the globalist plan. It's in the playbook, and they could certainly use it. If they don't feel comfortable, winning it themselves, they can just suspend it. Wouldn't be surprising, much like they did in Ukraine.
Oh, Lord, this is so intentional. This is so bad. Even Henry Kissinger came out and said,
I believe it was a mistake to import so many migrants into Europe. It was not a good thing for the society that we had mass migration.
Wow, that's
easy to do.
Great impersonation, Brian. Well done. I took a lot out of you.
Yeah, it took a lot, and we go. Okay. But
evil warlord of
evil warlord. Yeah, he did some stuff that really Nixon got blamed for, actually, but that's a whole other topic. We could delve into it another time. But yeah, this game plan to just erase borders and erase national sovereignty, these are bad things. It is a scary voice. Thank you. Okay, so yeah. Good Lord, why are we importing people from these countries? Why are we doing this? We've touched on some of the theories.
You're not allowed to say anything like replacing or voter block or.
Yeah, we are, because it's happening. Given. It's a plan with Soros, Obama, the powers that be.
Yeah.
Klaus Schwab. Yes, they are. Yes, they are the ones that are doing that. They don't like people having an existing culture and having sovereignty and having freedoms and rights. So they just want to keep adding and stirring it around. Soon your cider will no longer be cider if we keep adding ingredients to it. Oh, I can't believe you're cider phobic. You're so cider phobic. You're so milk phobic. It's like, no, I just don't need milk in my cider. I don't know. Like, just, this is already a thing. We can keep it a thing. No, they are the racists. I'm not cowering from these conversations anymore. They literally say those things. They want to replace. They want to. We're 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States. 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States. So this is a plan, and it's a shit plan. It's just not a good idea. Okay. here's not what I was thinking of, but how about this? It's trick or treat day, right?
Yeah.
Theoretically, trick or treat day. How about we open up our door, prop it open, put a note. We'll have our cats or our dogs or our turtles or whatever we have inside of our home as domestic animals. Of course, everybody has a turtle. And you just leave a note and go, come on in, take whatever you want. I'm going to run out and watch a movie. I'm going to go to the cinema and I'm going to go watch I don't know what's in the theaters. What's that? Freddy's, something at Freddy's, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah. Something like, yeah.
So you just go, hey everyone, I went to go watch Five Nights at Freddy's. I left the door open. Go ahead. Help yourself. Would you do that to your home? To anyone that just wants to show up? No. Why are we doing it to our country? That's just it's literal insanity. So anyway, Brian is his own best entertainment. I don't know how to take that comment, but she says she loves it. LOL. I'll take it.
Yeah. Oh, pretty good. I figured I was going to say that.
Are you not entertained?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I try to step really far away from the mic when I burst out into that. I don't know if it still carries too loudly when people are listening to the podcast, but listen to our podcast. It's on Spotify when it decides to upload a show. I tried 15 times to upload and I got 15 error messages. We're having a problem with Spotify now, but allegedly we're on Spotify, but it didn't like my latest episode of the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. But the Agree to Disagree show is up there, so please subscribe to that as well. So, yes, time for border barrier treason charges. And by the way, Kamala is pinned with being the border czar. Joe Biden is the commander-in-chief. One motion from the House, do a double impeachment, not for Biden, not for Hunter Biden, not for Burisma, not for Ukraine. For the border, they both are culpable 100% for what's happening now. Double treason and double impeachment. Go for it. And then we'd get President, what's his nuts? Mike Johnson. Is that his name?
Yep.
Bland, boring name. Okay, so that's my update there, and that's my thought on the situation there. Now let's move into the GOP field, Blake. Things have changed. Things have gotten interesting. Our good friend Larry Elder, I need to get him back on the show. I haven't talked to him in years, although I did give him a ride in an Uber after we had barbecue, you and I, with Larry,
right
back to a hotel where he was at. No, I didn't join him in the hotel. We shared an Uber because I was going in the same general direction.
Yeah, Brian, what were you doing with Larry in that hotel room all night?
Not Larry Sinclair, Larry Elder. And no, we were in the back seat of an Uber. He left to his hotel. I went on to my home.
Okay.
Outside of the 2016 Cleveland Republican National Convention back in 2016. But anyway, we need to get Larry Elder back on the show, but he is officially dropped out of the presidential race after getting screwed over by the GOP. And he is fully endorsing President Trump. Also, Mr. Lego head hair, Mike Pence, has withdrawn from his candidacy of president of the United States. He has not made an endorsement that I'm aware of. But now we're going to talk about this other guy, this little short guy. Your sister's a smart person if she loves Larry Elder. Larry's articulate. He's funny. He's rational. You could disagree with him on a few things. Maybe the weapons of mass destruction, he still holds that they did have that and it was hidden. And I kind of understand where he's coming from with that. There was a lot of subterfuge going on and maybe a little bit of false bravado and maybe a little bit of framing going on. Shocking in geopolitics. But Larry's sharp. He's intelligent. He's funny. And he was worthy of being up on the stage there. And the GOP really shot themselves in the foot by not allowing him a chance to articulate the conservative position, the constitutional position, whether you call him libertarian or, he goes by the sage of South Central, if you will, but he's a sharp guy. GOP once again made a terrible move. I need to run that party.
It wasn't a terrible move on their end. Yeah. They want to keep all those people out of the field. Yeah. No, they're awful. They're awful.
They want what's his face
and
like who's
trying to do anything good. No. They want to keep
things
the way they are.
Well, since today's show is going to be short, we're going to move on to this next show. Darn it. I had a really good line there and I fumbled over it. Since today's show is going to be cut a little short, we're going to move on to the next topic about a short man.
Yes.
doggone it, when you in the Cleveland Browns game, our backup cornerback came in. He broke on the pass, got past the receiver, had the ball, bink, went off of his hands. Could have been a pick six, 7-point swing. We lost the game by 4. It's like when you get those opportunities for a perfect segue and you just fumble over the words, it's like, no, slow motion. Just, oh man, I almost had it. But anyway, speaking about short, little Ronnie D, he's wearing height boosters to seem more electable. Do you agree or disagree with this, Blake?
Oh, I 100% agree. Yes, he's definitely, everyone's kind of giving him shit about why is he always wearing these boots? And I think it was one of the ladies from the Babylon Bee. Was it Ashley St. Clair? I think she was railing on him or railing on some of his supporters or in his inner circle about how he was wearing inserts and how it could be done on those boots and it could conceal it. And they actually are being used to prop him up and make him look taller.
Clown shoes.
Yeah, so now we got out of Politico. We got 3 expert shoemakers say Ron DeSantis is probably wearing height boosters. The internet has questions about the boots, and so this person asked the experts. Yes, in the last few weeks, there's been posts mocking Governor DeSantis' strangely shaped cowboy boots, racked up millions of views on Twitter and TikTok, with online sleuths trying to determine whether he's wearing height-boosting insoles to pump himself up against a 6'3" primary frontrunner with a penchant for nicknames, who reportedly considered calling DeSantis Tiny D. But I guess there's
Tiny D?
Yeah, I don't know if I've heard that one, but there's also
Tiny D, but it's Tiny D. I mean, I like Little Ronnie D.
You've been calling him that for a while.
I've been calling Little Ronnie D forever. Yeah, it harkens back to the Sunny D commercials. But yeah, he's wearing clown shoes, man, and I get it. Like Tom Cruise wears them. I'm in the under 6 foot club. Blake, are you in the under 6 foot club? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like 5'9", so
I mean, we're in the. Wouldn't it be nice? Look, sometimes I have worn Doc Martens. Doc Martens have a nice thick tread on them, maybe about yay big, maybe about an inch or 2. I mean, the difference between this and this could be enough to, make the right impression. Let's just say to make the right impression. It's like I get it as an under 6 foot dude. It's kind of the equivalent to padding your bra if you're a lady and you're, maybe you want to appear to be a little bit
tall. Yeah, it's normal
than you are naturally.
Right, especially for some of them that are actually very short. And so I forget what's Tom Cruise. How tall is he? Is he 5'6", 5'7"? I don't know.
6 or 7, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I get it. It's a self-conscious thing, but it didn't really affect him. He's had an amazing career. So
5'7", yes. Born in 1962.
All right. Well, I don't actually know how tall Ronnie D is, but according to, I guess, a old Yale baseball team roster, they say he stands at 5'11". So I don't know. I think he's just kind of run with it, whatever it is. But apparently, I guess they test people and they have to appeal to, the general voter out there. And some of them just prefer a taller candidate. I don't think it should make that big of a difference, but yes, apparently it does, and at least for the GOP and for the strategists behind him, or maybe it's his being self-conscious and going to all these public appearances, so he wants to look taller. And yes, they're pointing out that the boots, and yes, you can wear those. It's almost like having high heels, I guess. So you can make yourself several inches taller. If that makes him comfortable, then go for it. But yes, it's definitely, he is doing something to prop up and make himself look taller. So I think he should just be himself and just be like, hey, you know what? I'm a shorter guy. Own it.
Now Trump is a really large man. He does dominate the physical
he's like
presence.
6'3".
How much? 6'3"?
Yeah.
He seems bigger than 6'3", but.
Oh yeah, he's definitely larger than life.
Well, there's that too, right? Let me pull this up. This is just a really quick. This is Patrick Bet David talking with Ron DeSantis, Little Ronnie D, as I'm calling him, as we all lovingly, not so lovingly, call this bum. I'm not a fan of little Ronnie D at all. Little turncoat traitor, sniveling rat. I dislike Ronnie D. Here he goes. Patrick Bet David talking with little Ronnie D about how tall he is and why he wears boots.
Are you the type of person, like I have people around me that love to say, hey, Pat, you got something between your teeth. These are the annoying people in your life, right? Hey, Pat, pull your zipper up. Hey, Pat, do this. Hey, pull one of your socks is lower than the other one. I'm sure your marketing team points out how they're trying to troll you in the marketplace. Okay, I'm sure they're doing that. Can you bring this one clip? I know you were on, what do you call it? On, what was it? Bill Maher, and Bill Maher talked about the boots. I've seen you walk with these boots. Go ahead and play this clip. This on TikTok went viral. It doesn't have 1 million views. It doesn't have, 10 million views. This thing's got 1.2 million likes. And some people are wondering,
what are they? I don't even. I haven't seen that.
They've not shown this to you. Okay, no. What they're trying to say with this is that in your boots you have.
Okay, hold on. You pulled a comment there. You said anomaly 6'4", but still hot. AJ's
he towers over us. Yeah, we've got a couple pictures of him. He's a very tall guy. Yeah, probably 6'4", maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, AJ's a really tall dude. He's a tall dude, and yeah, he definitely garners the attention. We couldn't go 5-10 minutes without somebody stopping and talking to him. When you have that rock star thing going, you just have it. And he kind of has like the get him to the Greek. What's that guy's name?
Russell Brand. He's also like 6'4" or something. He's tall.
Well, they got that tall, skinny, dark hair thing going on that has that that magnetic ability. And living in Hollywood as long as I did and being around people, you either have that or you don't. Yeah, and he's got that too. Thanks for that comment. But yeah, back to Ronnie D and his boots. Thanks for that weird comment.
They've not shown this to you. Okay, what we're trying to say with this is that in your boots you have heels.
No. Yeah, those are just standard off the rack. Lucchese.
How tall are you, Governor? How tall?
5'11".
5'11". Okay. Why don't you wear tennis shoes and dress shoes?
I do wear tennis shoes when I work out. Yeah, 100%.
You do.
Yep.
Okay. I got a gift for you. I'd love for you to wear. Okay. I shop at Ferragamo. Okay. And
I don't know.
I don't accept gifts. I can't accept it.
I totally get it.
I'm sorry.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here.
Wait, he doesn't accept gifts? Is that a thing when you're running for president? What a nerd. What a nerd. What a weird way to...
Yeah.
What a weird response. I don't accept gifts. He has such a rat voice, too. It's all nasally. I don't accept gifts. I'm a rat.
Yeah, he's not exactly Mr. Personality.
No.
So he's an effective governor. I liked him there, and now he's becoming an enemy, sort of. Yes.
Yeah, it is. It is unfortunate. I would love to see the party unite already and focus their effort on destroying the Democrat Party instead of infighting each other when you have your clear winner. Like, what are you even? Why are you fighting for scraps? Just you got your champion. Go for it. Yeah, little Ronnie D. So, Blake, any thoughts before we bounce to the next topic about Larry Elder being the first prominent presidential candidate on the GOP to firmly, boldly, vividly back and support President Donald Trump? And any thoughts on Mike Pence leaving the race? And as far as I know, not endorsing Trump yet. I don't know if he ever will. Any thoughts on those?
I'll say 99% chance that Pence endorses Nikki Haley.
Oh,
and yeah, I can't see him endorsing. There's no way he's going to endorse Trump. There might be a chance that he would endorse DeSantis, but I'd say probably Nikki Haley very positively. It'd be great to see Larry Elder get a chance, and it's sad because he was a very prominent guy and he's a big radio show host, and he deserved that spot, and that was wrong. And to put a guy like Chris Christie or some of these other awful people that they put up. Yeah, there was some people. And not even that I have an issue with like the North Dakota governor. And then there was that creepy guy from Arkansas. I can't remember his name. But Larry Elder would have easily been. And was it Tim Young or something? Florida. Yeah, Larry Elder should have been like in that top, 4 or 5.
It was Tim Scott. And then I don't know about Arkansas, but there was a North Dakota guy, Ben Burgum.
Yeah.
Burgum.
I can't even remember anymore, but yeah, it should have been
non-memorable. It's just they were giving you a middle finger by leaving Larry out of it. So, Yeah. Anyway. Okay. So that's going on. Dreamer saying that Ben Carson has endorsed Trump as well. So that's good. He's not currently running, Ben Carson, but that's good to see. I did hear a rumor today, Blake, something really interesting, something very unexpected. You ready for this one?
Yep. We only got about 15 minutes, but yes, go ahead.
Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Who is Donald Trump likely in your mind, if you had to guess, put, let's say FanDuel gives you a free $100, but you have to bet it on who Trump is going to pick for his VP. Who do you think Donald Trump will pick as his VP? We've seen Carrie Lake. She's running for Senate. We've seen DeSantis stab him in the back. Who is left, and if you had just a free bet, but you got to pick it right now?
I would just have to go with Carrie Lake. I really like her. I think she would be great.
But she's already running for the Senate. She's decided that that's.
Oh, yeah. Well, then, so what? She could drop out of that and go for the VP.
Okay. I guess if she was called to do so. I heard a rumor today that it's possible that Donald John Trump selects as his next running mate in 2024 Mike Pence.
Yeah,
no.
right.
This is what I heard. I'm not saying I would bet that. I was blown away to hear that uttered out loud. We'll see how it shakes out. I don't know. I have no idea. But anyway.
Yeah, where'd you hear that from? Source? Where's your source, Brian?
Source? Where's your source?
Okay, now we're going to get into our lightning round as we wrap today's program up. Thank you all for watching the Agree to Disagree show on the New American Media, because the old American media has failed you. This is Blake Walley over here. He's at TV's Blake Walley on X. TheNextLevelNews.com is his site. And make sure you find the Agree to Disagree show and the Unhappy Hour Sports show and the New American Media in all of the places, because we could be deleted from any one of these places at any moment. So follow us everywhere, including Signal, Telegram, Rumble, Spotify, etc. Okay, next topic. Okay, so this is one of the most important questions that we need to get answers on. And I encourage all the listeners in the chats as they're compiled up and starting to fill up. I need an answer to this. How did the Israeli intelligence agencies not see the attack coming? How did it take them so long to respond and defend themselves? So that's the question. What is the best answer you've heard, and what's the worst answer you've heard? Because it's a fair question. Let's reach a consensus. Is it determined? Do we have an answer yet? That is the next topic, Blake. Agree or disagree that the top Israeli generals failed to warn Netanyahu of an imminent attack? Did Israeli generals fail to warn Netanyahu of the imminent attack?
Disagree strongly.
Oh, okay.
I can't see that happening at all. So they're always on heightened alert, and they have the best security on the planet, and somehow it was let down. It stood down for hours. And yes, this horrific attack on October 7th. And now it's lead to escalations that may be embroiling, half the world into a giant war. So this is terrible. We're trying to get the answers on this. There should be a massive investigation before anybody gets any further involved, any other countries. But yes, there's a blame game going on. So my best answer is that I think Netanyahu did this as an easy power grab, because he was afraid of getting ousted and disgraced. The people were rising up. They were tired of his shit. And so I think maybe possibly run Hamas. That's going to be bold. But I think there's they like that as their radical opposition that they can use.
I did have this thought. So you've mentioned many times the possibility that Netanyahu is the one who runs Hamas.
Well, it just is at the top Israeli intelligence, just like maybe, we run some of the radical groups or
not
allied.
Not us, but
not us, but I mean the United States. Yes, that they have particular enemies or, moderate rebels that they use to do dirty work.
So then if Hamas is removed, that would be a huge strike against Netanyahu.
Well, they would just find some other radical group, or they would just continue going. It'd be like, declaring the war on terror. It never ends. There's always
terror is a word, though. Terror is a good Halloween word, but like Hamas is a specific group that's been in charge of Palestine then it would just be 20 years, Hezbollah, 25 years.
Sure. Well, if it wasn't Hamas, then it'd be ISIS, or it'd be Hezbollah, there'd be other radical groups, or there would be another radical spin-off group of Hamas that forms even somebody more terrifying. And there's another reason we have to invade another country.
Like a dog with bees in his mouth, and when he barks, he shoots bees at you.
Yeah, pretty much. So
that's a Simpsons line, by the way.
Story here.
I try to quote Simpsons once per show.
So there needs to be an investigation, and apparently Netanyahu decided to set the record straight, accusing his top generals of not warning him, because it couldn't possibly be him that ordered some kind of a stand down or allowed this to happen. It must have been anybody but him, including he's throwing his own top generals under the bus. Like, he just didn't know, totally oblivious, wanted, he's always trying to serve his country. And then his darn generals just let him down and didn't warn him about the planned Hamas invasion and attack. So for weeks now, the international media and leftist media has blamed Prime Minister Netanyahu for the Hamas massacre in Israel. And Hamas terrorists slaughtered 1,400 Jews, captured and took another 220 back to Gaza as hostages, at least 10 Americans currently held by the Hamas savages. And on Tuesday, far left MSNBC host Joe Scarborough blamed Netanyahu for the attacks and demanded he resign. But now we know more about what was happening behind the scenes. Netanyahu tweeted out that top generals did not warn him about Hamas planning a major border invasion. Of course, I guess he deleted the tweet, reposted the tweet, setting the record straight, which he was challenged with, and he later removed the tweet. But the truth was out, at least according to this. And I do like the Gateway Pundit most of the time. I think they've been a little bit biased on this particular issue. I'm not buying it. And I've never liked Netanyahu. I've never trusted him. He's always been one of the creepy warmongers who's always trying to get United States embroiled to, help fight in whatever war. And I don't, So I just have a hard time believing that he was just completely insulated. It just seems like more, projection from a sociopath or psychopath, perhaps, who's just loves to have any excuse to go and genocide his political enemies.
So when you read the story, I picked up on a hint of a word that you accentuated, savages, in air quotes.
Well, no, this is from the Gateway Pundit. This is their word, and I'm not saying that they're not savages. I have nothing, I have no love for Hamas by any means. I do not like any radical groups that commits violence on anybody.
Okay, because I picked up on the savages part, that it almost as if you were. Okay.
No, I'm exaggerating because that's the way that they are framing this particular issue.
Because they are.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, and they do quite often. And a lot of times I support some of the things that they do. We've had some of these kind of internal dialogues about, with their coverage of, J6 protests or what have you. And sometimes they leave out important information, important facts. They do have their own slant sometimes, but I do subscribe to the Gateway Pundit, and I do like a lot of what they put out. But there are some times where I do disagree. And this would be one of those issues.
By the way, I meant to bring this up, and I got a little sidetracked in the need to hurry through. But I just went to the last story that we had. I just wanted to bookend it with this one thing from DC Drano about Mike Pence. Sorry to interrupt the flow, but we'll continue with this. DC Drano says about Mike Pence, Mike Pence has suspended his presidential campaign. Make no mistake, he has been banished forever from the America First movement for what he did on January 6th. We all watched the 2020 election get stolen, and Mike Pence said he would fight back. By the way, go to cisa.gov/rumor control if you'd like to hear countervailing views on that topic. He continues, DC Drano does. He goes, but instead, Mike Pence backstabbed 74 million Americans who voted for him and President Trump. Instead of upholding his oath to defend the Constitution and send Electoral College votes tainted by fraud back down to state legislatures for further review, he fulfilled his role in the coup and helped the DC Uniparty install an illegitimate tyrant. Good riddance, Mike Pence. Hope the blood money was worth it, you backstabbing traitor. Anyway, I just felt it was important to give that, and also encourage you to go to cisa.gov/rumor control, because they have countervailing views on what DC Drano just said, but I got 74 million plus a whole bunch of other million that agree with what DC Drano said. So I thought it was.
How about agree or disagree that Brian is trying to run out the clock so he doesn't have to, so we can avoid talking about the subject of Israel?
I'm bored with it. I've said that 100. We've done 20 shows in a row on it. We'll cover it, but I mean,
it's that's dominating the news cycle, and we have to cover the latest news and current events no matter what.
What?
But I don't blame you, Brian. If I had to take the defensive position on Israel, I wouldn't want to talk about it either, to be fair.
All right. So next topic, we should reject calls for ceasefire until Gaza is wiped off the map. Agree or disagree? We should reject calls for ceasefire until Gaza is wiped off the map.
I am going to disagree. I do not like the fact that they are trying to escalate this after thousands of people have now been destroyed in Gaza, and who knows how many injured
in the war that Hamas started. Okay.
Yes, nice little twist there.
1,700 dead at a movie.
Apparently, millions need to die, and then maybe Brian will be like, "Well, I guess that's enough now. Enough blood has been spilt. Every last person, every last Palestinian has been completely removed from the region."
I thought you said all Hamas are Palestinian, but not all Palestinians are Hamas. I think this is a war against Hamas, who are the ruling party for 25 years there, who will not stop attacking their neighbors.
Yeah, and then right. So how many Hamas do you think have actually died in these attacks versus how many innocent Palestinians?
Okay, so this is
all right. Okay, Brian, I got like 5 minutes. Do you mind if I please just buzz through? I got a lot of stories that I really wanted to cover on this, so I've only got about 4 minutes now. So I would like to. I got like 20 open tabs that I've not been able to get to. So can we? And then I'll leave, and then you can counter offer everything completely unopposed, because I won't be here to defend anything else.
You just ran off 40 seconds. Go. You got the floor.
All right, here we go. All right, so intel expert, U.S. and Israeli globalists instigated the Hamas attacks to unleash controlled opposition in the region. So that was the former intelligence officer, Jeffrey Praler, explained the Israelis instigated the Hamas attacks so they could carry on with their own violence and tyrannical plans for control. And now Biden has expressed his all-out support for the plans. There is a leaked Netanyahu video about striking them hard. They need to suffer so painfully that the price they pay will be unbearable. And I know what America is. America is a thing you can move very easily. Move it in the right direction. They won't get in their way. So he can just pretty much say whatever they want, and you say enough stuff about them killing babies and blah blah blah, and people will believe it, and they'll sympathize and get on their side. How about human animals? The sordid language behind Israel's genocide in Gaza as they are carpet bombing the shit out of people. How about this one? Hamas did not bake a baby in an oven, according to Israeli journalists report. They are pulling out more of the shameless atrocity propaganda. And I called this guy out actually on Twitter, John Podhoretz. Used to work for the Weekly Standard with Bill Kristol, saying they baked a baby in an oven. See, it's just meant to provoke an emotional response.
But my quick question is, how can you be certain that didn't happen? Just as we can be uncertain that it did happen, how can you be so certain that it didn't? That's the part I don't understand. It's a war and nobody knows anything.
No proof. Yeah, they don't show any proof, but then this guy, it's got like 6 million views on this. Look at it. So here it is. Let me pull it up. 9 million views. They baked a baby in an oven from this guy, and then Syrian girls even pulling it out, stealing the history of Zionist crimes and made them your own. Apparently this has happened in the past, and people are calling out. So, and then which I called this guy out and said, this guy's a blithering idiot that worked for neocon Bill Kristol, spreading brainless baby murder propaganda pornography. And then some of the someone's called me out and said, yes, that's horrific. That's how horrific it is. Even the biggest apologists for the Hamas animals can't believe it. And there is video. And I said, prove it. And I'll be more than happy to retract. There's another guy that called me out. A bunch of people like called me out and then they blocked me, so I couldn't respond. This idiot guy Fromage says ad hominem check, blah, blah, blah. Hyperbole. And I said, hey, if the story is actually true, then why do these genocide advocates keep blocking me? Show us the facts. And they also pulled out this lady who was supposedly at the concert who was not beheaded, that they said.
Wait, hold on. They found her skull 2 days ago. Did you miss this? Separated from her body.
No, yes,
you didn't see this?
I did not. So please call it out. I don't know, but I am saying that there's
the one who had her legs broken and was paraded around naked in the back of a truck, and then they found her skull 2 days ago. You're calling that?
Okay, that could be. I don't have a dog in the fight. I just call it out because there's a lot of propaganda, and there could be absolutely on both sides. I tend to think Syrian Girl is more credible than a lot of the people I see on Twitter, like this idiot John Podhoretz. Or even Ben Shapiro or Mark Levin or a lot of these people. So, but I could be very well wrong. I'd be happy to retract it. I just want to get at the truth. But I see them put this propaganda porn out there, and a lot of it's bullshit. And they said the 40 beheaded babies. They never showed proof of that. Now they're screeching about babies in ovens. Oh, really? It's meant to provoke a response. It's meant to get us on their side to fight their war.
Speaking of fighting the war, should we draft Zoomers to fight the war?
No.
No.
No, there should not be a draft. And you get this crazy Netanyahu who's trying to act like this is like biblical times and that he's like some chosen spokesperson for God, and we have to get on the people of light, God's chosen people, to defend against these Hamas animals. And I'm not buying it. You even got Jewish people turning against the Israeli government, accusing them of war crimes and committing genocide. You've got 60% of Gaza residents killed in Israeli airstrikes so far are women and children. We've got, how about, let's pull up this one. 85% of these Hamas fighters were actually orphaned by Israel in the past. I don't know if this is 100% proven, but yes, if you were orphaned in these attacks, it's probably going to force you to grow up and go after the people that ruined your life. So there is, then finally, yes, watch Zennials, as they call it, are terrified of the military draft as World War looms. So maybe I can run this quick video and then I got to go. So yes, Gen Z is pretty soft like the millennials. I just don't see them going up against Hamas warriors or Hezbollah or the Russians or the Chinese. I think we're in a lot of trouble if we have to draft people. So here we go.
So 5 years of rent-free living.
Actually, Brian, I'm going to have to send this to you. You'll probably have to run the video. I will go, and then you can say whatever you want. And I won't be able to call anything out. So, but it's been a pleasure. The video won't play? No, it's again my limitations with my Elon Musk satellite internet, which is great. But
okay, if you send it to me, I will play it as soon as I can. This is from India today, that the German tattoo artist Shani Luke was beheaded by Hamas. This was kind of all over the news a few days ago. That was the one that was paraded around in the back of the truck.
Could be. Let's just assume it's true. I'm not going to argue it. I'm glad you called it out, but I don't know. And it's just like we still don't 100% know who blew up the hospital. So
I thought that was determined as well. That was a Hamas rocket that ended in the parking lot.
It's still not. No. Even the New York Times ran an investigation because they had to save face. And every investigation, it looks like, it seems like it's unlikely that Hamas mistakenly just happened to blow up their own hospital and 500 people died. So, no, there's a lot of, propaganda.
I don't find it unlikely that when they dig up their water pipes and make really rinky-dink weapons that they misfire and go bonkers sometimes. That seems very plausible.
Yeah, the rockets that might have the capacity to kill a few people, never 500. But the one time they had a mass destruction weapon, it just happened to kill 500 people. That doesn't pass the smell test. And it's just, oh my God, and it landed on a hospital. Oh no. Yeah, on the surface, it sounds ridiculous, but I could very well be wrong. Again, I just want to get the stories right. I'm not against, either way. So I just want to fight for the truth. Anyway, it's been a pleasure, everybody. Happy Halloween. I wish we had more time, but we'll finish it all up on Thursday. I got to run. Take care, everybody. I'm out.
Thank you, Blake. He's on Twitter, X at TV's Blake Walley. And thenextlevelnews.com. Where's that video he's trying to... I pulled it up, and it's acting up for me. Maybe sometimes there are videos that don't want to be played. Zennials. There we go. Yeah, we were called Xennials, but it's Xennials. I've never seen it spelled with a Z, although that is probably the pronunciation. Zennials are terrified of a military draft as war looms. Well, that's what you get for voting for this Obama puppet named Joe Biden. Is this the article? It says equity fund. What is happening here, Blake? Oh, good Lord. Where's the... Oh, okay, here it is. Gen Z is looking forward to food and shelter of... All right, here we go. Let's see this.
So, rent-free living and no responsibilities versus being immediately obliterated by an AK-47 the moment I set foot on that battlefield. And that's if they can catch me, because you think, this draft occurs, I'm headed for the hills, baby. I know a place. It has everything I could possibly need, except for electricity and cell service, which is going to be perfect, because you won't be able to find me. Do I look like somebody who the authorities are going to be chasing after, hunting down, because they need me? They need me to grab an assault weapon and go try to, save people's lives? Are you kidding me? Talk about a liability. Go find those people who are so, pro-Second Amendment and wear, freaking American flag thongs and all that shit. Go find them. They have a concealed carry anyway. They know what they're doing. They've done the classes. Go find them. You don't want me fighting for this country. I promise you that. And you know it's true.
That is motivational right there. Thank you, Blake, for sharing that one. This is not the fighting force you're looking for. Yeah. Yes, happy Halloween, Blake. Thank you. Happy Halloween, everybody else as well. Yeah, Blake and I discussed this Israel war that Hamas started. He always sides with... He's got a perspective. He's got a slant. It's maybe not my perspective. Go ahead, have the floor, put your stuff out. But, I thought it was pretty obvious after it was investigated. Israel did not blow up a hospital. I thought that was 100% confirmed. Tell me I'm wrong. Leave a comment if you have new information. I don't want to turn all of my shows on the Agree to Disagree show into yelling about an Israel war that Hamas started, because we don't know what the stories are. What's the fucking point? I don't know who's lying. You know why? Because they all are. At least a little bit. I'd rather cover 20 other stories. We know what's going on over there, and it sucks. You know why? Because war sucks. You know why I like Trump? Because he's the only president in my entire life that kept us out of a new foreign conflict. The only president of my lifetime that hasn't dragged our neighbors, our cousins, our family members, our friends, co-workers, people from our town, people from our county, people from our state, our countrymen and women, off to get slaughtered and brought back in body bags. I don't like that. Under Barack Hussein Obama's puppet string management and all of his gross little cronies running the Biden regime after overthrowing the United States, look at the mess. Look at the mess that's been created in just 3 short years. That's all I know. That guy and anybody who's been calling the shots, leaving 300 weapons with Afghanistan, who's going to lecture us about giving up our guns. Kamala Harris saying, yeah, we need to adopt, what did she say, the Australian model? or New Zealand, one of those. Oh yeah, we should adopt a lack of freedom. If you show such a blatant disregard for our founding documents, there should be immediate withdrawal for incompetence, dereliction of duty, treason. That's where I'm trying to focus my attention on. I'm sorry, it's not in me to try to find a way every show to bash Israel. It's just not in me. Blake has his perspective. I have mine. Like I said, there's fog of war. That's a very popular phrase for a reason. Nobody really knows the finer details. So getting hyper fixated on this event or that event and this story and that story, especially when you get it wrong. That beheading story, it's like, that was 2 days ago. That was like all over the place. It kind of depends where you're getting your story. If you're literally getting a lot of your information from Syrian girl, I wonder what propaganda you're getting from her. I just a guess. She's going to say it's all fake. But I was fairly certain it was proven when her decapitated skull was found, but her body hasn't been found. Maybe that's not true. We'll report on it and move on, because what else are we going to do? We're just going to yell about a story that we don't know how to confirm? There's a lot to talk about. I just want to make sure we have time to talk about all the stories. Let me just buzz through comments, see if there's anything I might have missed here. I guess maybe just start at the bottom. Let's see. Deb says, God created us all, therefore we are all God's chosen. That language is divisive. Well, but Deb, that's exactly what they say in Islam. They are the chosen people too. Christians are the chosen people because they worship Jesus and God. And they picked the right religion too. This narrative that only Israel is evil because they call themselves the God's chosen people, every religion thinks that they're God's chosen people, not just Israelis. I don't like that argument. That language is said from hardline extremists in Christianity and Islam, as well as Judaism. I mean, is it fear porn to stoke the fires, or is it what's happening? Maybe it's both. Oh, that's nice. Deb says that Blake and Brian have great chemistry. We respect each other enough to let the other person talk. It's who was that guy? See, I haven't watched Fox in so many years, but oh geez, go back to Hannity and Combs. I met Alan Combs before he passed away in 2016 at the RNC. Yeah, he's gracious. Took a quick picture. And who's that other guy that's been on? Maybe Geraldo was a recent one. Who's the other guy? Oh, I can see him. Black dude on the 5. Geez, I don't know. But, it's good to have differences of opinion, and it's good to have room for conversation. And that's what we try to do. That's what we try to do here. Let Blake speak. I always let Blake speak, but when he said something that was completely the opposite of what was widely reported yesterday, I don't know where he's getting his information from. And I don't trust any of the information right now, especially in a war. Deb says it was planned and they knew it. Oh, it was definitely planned. Definitely planned. Anyway. Okay. Brian, okay, what's Deb saying? Brian, you and my sister would get along like a house on fire? Wait, what? Like a house on fire? What's a house on fire mean? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? That's thumbs up and smiley face. What is a house on fire? Is that a good thing? And Kenneth with the wordplay here saying Minnesota in him. Yeah, Blake is from Minnesota. Absolutely. The Minnesota. Geez, I even heard Sarah Palin back in the news. Not Minnesota, but that same kind of Fargo-esque accent. I don't do it very well, but I could practice. I'm a little rusty on it. But yeah, look, my request to everybody is that you please follow the New American Media in all the places. We're on Signal. We're on Telegram, TNAM and TNAM Chat on Telegram. TNAM and TNAM Chat. That is where we go when we're banned by Facebook. Yes, you can find us on Facebook. Let me post this really quick here in the captions. I think I still have it listed up here. It should be here. Maybe I had to delete it. Okay. I guess just search for our private group on Facebook by searching TNAM's The Agree to Disagree Show. TNAM's The Agree to Disagree Show. TNAM, of course, is for the New American Media because the old American Media failed. So make sure you follow us there. So Telegram is our backup for Facebook. We're on X at American_media_. Our backup for that is Truth Social. We are the New American Media over there. Our backup for YouTube. So youtube.com/the New American Media has millions of views, 1,300 some videos. Check them out. I mean, including who was referenced in today's show that we have talked about that might have videos. AJ, we have multiple hangout sessions with Anomaly at music conventions and political conventions and just in general. Dude's doing good work, and he's he's a friend of mine. I like him. Good guy, it seems. But yeah, we have content with him. We have content with Larry Elder. He's been we met him. We had him in person at the RNC, and then we had him on the program for an hour or two. One of our most heavily censored shows, by the way, Larry Elder, talking about the breakdown of the black culture. Ooh, YouTube did not like Larry saying what Larry said about society's ills and the ways that we could level up as humans and try to expect more out of ourselves and how we could achieve more by making wiser decisions. Why would YouTube be against that? There's a story that I didn't have a chance to get to, and I don't have an article pulled up, but in LA, let me just type it in because this is LAPD YouTube accounts or channel. Yeah, maybe it'll pop. This is one of the most bizarre things ever, except unless you understand what YouTube is. Alphabet, Google, YouTube. These people have been against us the whole time. And what are we? We're just people that are going after the truth. We're people who are speaking honestly. We're covering underreported stories. And we don't intentionally lie to you. Not a single time have we ever pushed something that we've known to be untrue. Not a single time. But YouTube, however, they like to censor us and shadow ban us and delete our content. Oh, yes. We actually got our first strike in 13 years the other day. They didn't tell us why. Bunch of assholes. So check this story out, if you will. I got to double click it, I think. Darn double click. It used to be on this Restream app. You clicked it once and then it sent you to what you were clicking on. Then you could navigate within there and you were onto it. Now I got to click and go back and then I got to leave there and then go back to the other page. It's highly inefficient. I am not a fan of that, but I'm not the software developer that created it either. So here's a story. I'll let this lovely lady, whoever she is, explain the situation.
He says it was kicked off of YouTube.
Oh, I guess it clipped the beginning. It says LAPD says that they were kicked off YouTube. I'll just reset it.
The LAPD says it was kicked off of YouTube after posting a video of a brutal attack. Take a look. The department says the platform temporarily suspended its channel over this incident. They posted footage of an attack in Venice where two suspects beat a man with bolt cutters. So police were hoping that someone would, of course, recognize the suspects. But YouTube apparently decided the video violated its policy. So the LAPD appealed the suspension, but it was denied. In the meantime, police will post these videos to its website. And as we know, they are very critical to many investigations.
Yeah, they are.
How are you going to find the bad guys unless you show what's going on? You know, I had a little bit of, took a little bit of blowback for sharing the hockey murder. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't a freak accident. The hockey murder. And look, I don't know of a way to put the gray cover on a video and say it's sensitive content. If you'd like to see it, click this and see it so that you're not just scrolling and, I wasn't prepared for that any more than, well, anyway. being surprised with something you're not intending to see. But I do find it curious that YouTube, who keeps messing with us, we used to be monetized. We used to get checks. We used to really care about knocking out the videos because it helped us pay our bills. They kind of moved away from that over the recent years. We did one of the most egregious, and there's a long laundry list of things that YouTube has done to the new American media to try to get in the way of our success. One of them was an Ariana Grande concert, and there was an attack. It was overseas. I forget where, France or something. And so it happened, and I instantly went live. And I did a quick show, maybe a 10, 15-minute show. Covered the event as we knew it. This is at the height of all of these attacks going on. You remember that during the last Barack Obama term, his second term. We're now in his third term with that puppet Joe Biden wearing the skin mask or whatever's happening to his face or whoever that is. We covered the Ariana Grande attack, and we discussed, all right, well, look, we go to a lot of concerts too. Here's what you need to think of when you're going to a concert. Here's what happens if you're separated. You need to have a point and say, look, if we get separated, here's where we meet, at this corner, at this spot. Now, if for some reason we cannot meet at this location, could be on fire, there could be bad guys doing bad things here, we need a secondary location to meet. If something happens when we're inside, so that would be an outside scenario. You do the same thing inside and you pick your 2 points, but then you also identify your exits. If something happens, how do I get out of here? If something happens, is there anything I can do to fight back? Is there a place I could hide? That's the sad nature of what's happening. I mean, look in Maine. People were going bowling, and all of a sudden, you're in a horror movie. So I just did a generic show discussing how you can react, how you can protect yourself. YouTube took that video off and said that it was, I forget what they said. Half the time they never explain themselves to you. Bunch of cowards. Facebook deleted the New American Media page. No explanation. No explanation. So we covered the story. They said we're not allowed to cover that content, or like the subject material is too violent or something. I'm like, the hell are you talking about? It's news. We're a news organization covering who, what, where, when, why, how. Our content was stripped pretty quickly. And where the video would no longer play, you know what they had for suggested videos? Shooting at Ariana Grande concert, CBS. Shooting at Ariana Grande concert, NBC. Shooting at Ariana Grande concert, Fox. You know what they were doing? They're trying to make sure that independent media outlets are unable to tell you the news, especially after we've built up a reputation of honesty, reliability, integrity. Because in this life, all you got is your balls and your word, and I don't break them for nobody. All you got in the media industry is your balls and your word. You got to have the guts to tell the stories that are underreported, and you got to be honest about it and never intentionally deceive somebody for profit. And integrity and reputation is something that it can take a lifetime to build and a second to destroy. But what was going on with YouTube was they had their legacy media companies. What do they call them? A trusted news source? No, they're the ones that are paying them more. They're paying them off to block content from independent creators because we're cutting into their market share. We're cutting into their revenue. It's trash. And that's what's been going on for a long time. So I just find it remarkably curious. The agenda of YouTube to remove a video of two monsters. In that video, it appeared to be one person, so I don't know what the second person was doing other than being at least an accomplice. Why would you not want to get those monsters off the street? Why would you suspend a channel, put a strike up, remove a video when it's an urgent call to action to defend the public from madmen? It just makes you wonder the true intentions of YouTube. And that's why we started a Rumble channel. So I implore you, I beg of you, I command you to go on Rumble. This would be my call. I don't have a share. I don't have a stake in the company. I don't have shares. I would like shares. Rumble is what I intended the New American Media to be. I was working with a developer to do a YouTube rival channel. It takes kind of a vast amount of money and infrastructure to get it going. But at the end of the day, it's just a site where you upload videos. Like, how complicated can it be? Especially when ad revenue starts coming in and you find a way to boost the staff then. But please, if you don't have a Rumble account, start one. If you're not on it, please get on it. And follow the New American Media. We're posting all of our shows over there. So if you're no longer able to check us out on X, because for all the good that Elon is doing, I got a tiny little apprehension there. I got a little bit of suspicion. I'm not fully on board. It'd be nice to believe that things are going to work out in a good way. Am I 100% certain that they will? I can't say that I'm 100% certain that they will. So our backup to X is Truth Social. Our backup to Facebook is Telegram, and that's TNAM and TNAM Chat. And our backup to YouTube is Rumble. Create an account, find us, follow us. We need viewers on Rumble. Like I said, we got 6,300 subscribers on YouTube and millions of views, but we need to port those people over to Rumble. And as I said, follow Blake, even when he misreports a story that was reported on a day ago or today, yesterday, 2 days ago. And by the way, that report could be wrong too. So I give a little bit of grace. But I would encourage Blake to get his news from a more robust sourcing than just a Syrian girl who's going to always rabidly attack one side and, not really self-reflect on her side. Because that group has been run by a terrorist organization for more than, 25 years now? I mean, there's got to be some responsibility at the end of the day for Hamas. But yes, follow Blake regardless. I think he means well. I think he's a little clouded with rage on this issue. He's always anti-Israel, just almost 100% of the time. It's as irritating as I am to him, he is to me. It's okay. We got our great chemistry going. We're trying to get the actual information. Follow Blake. He's on X at TV's Blake Walley, and his site is called thenextlevelnews.com. Our view only tube. It's not YouTube. Not you. It's our view only tube. Thank you, Kenneth. And thank you, everybody else who watched us today. That is the end of the program, the Agree to Disagree show on the New American Media, because the old American media failed you. I appreciate you. I love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. Take care. And happy Halloween.